The most unusual and outlandish motherboards. Part 1. Let's start with the ASRock AM2NF3 VSTA motherboard. This is a motherboard on an AM2 Plus socket, an N-Force 3 chipset, and an AGP bus. The unusual feature of this board is that it supports second-generation Phenom processors, which means that it can be installed, for example, a 6-core Phenom 1055 and a video card on the AGP bus, which is a rare combination. Next is the Gigabyte GA EP45DQ6 motherboard. At first glance, this is an ordinary motherboard on a 775 socket with a P45 chipset, but the whole point is in the network controller, or rather in the fact that it has 4 network controllers. It is extremely difficult to find another motherboard with such a number of network controllers. The next Soltech SLB9DFGR motherboard. The board has an unusual format for today, although at the time of release, such boards were popular for bare-bone systems. This board is based on a 939 socket and via K8T800 Pro chipset. Next, the ASRock H110 Pro BTC Plus motherboard. As you might guess, this is a motherboard for miners. And what is unusual about it is that it has one PCIe X16 slot and 12 PCIe X1 slots, so you can install 13 video cards on the board. Next, the ASRock K7 Upgrade 600 motherboard. This is a board with socket and via KT600 chipset. This board has a special connector for an adapter that allows you to install processors on a 754 socket. Next, the ASRock X99EITX/AC motherboard. This is a Minix board with an X99 chipset and a 2011 3-socket. The unusual feature of this board is the size, as well as the fact that the processors for this socket work in 4-channel mode, and the board has only 2 slots for RAM. The next board is Asus G-Surf 365. This board belongs to the Republic of Gamers series. What is unusual about it is that it is designed for computer clubs and the board has special plastic rad mounts designed to prevent theft of ROM in computer peripherals. The next motherboard is OpenEck K86 Tube 3. What is unusual about it is that 3 lamps for a tube sound amplifier are soldered on the board. Next is the Asus ROG Maximus 9 Apex board. This powerful overclocker board on the Z270 chipset has only 2 slots for RAM. But there is another slot nearby, but not for RAM, but for an expansion card, on which you can install 2M drives. 2. Finally, let's look at the Viacom 8x80 motherboard. And what's unusual about it is that it's a motherboard in a motherboard. The small board contains a soldered processor and a graphics chip. And it can be installed inside a special board of the usual format, where there is a regular set of peripheral connectors. According to the company's plan, customers with this approach could easily update the processor without replacing the main board. That's it for me. Write in the comments what other unusual motherboards you know.